curriculum shopping can be extremely overwhelming. But with a couple of simple questions, you can weed out 90% of what's out there and hone in on the 10% that's going to work for you and your kiddos. Right after this. Hi there, my name is Melissa Branham and I'm the mom of the WanderStruck.Family, and I'm here to help you with your homeschool journey. Whether you're new to homeschooling, already home educating, or a veteran to a home-centered education, click below to get inspiration and encouragement along your journey. Today, we're talking about how to filter out and decide what curriculum is best for you and your kiddos. And we're going to do so with some simple questions that you can ask yourself to really weed out 90% of homeschool curriculum that's out there and leave you with just 10% to really go through and find out what encourages and inspires you. So let's get started. Number one, the biggest factor I think that comes in is cost. If you can't afford it, it's not going to work. There's curriculum out there that ranges anywhere from free to hundreds of dollars. You need to set a budget that works for you and decide what you want to spend on a curriculum, what you feel comfortable, and what that curriculum is worth to you. Let me give you a tip though. We set aside money every paycheck that goes into an account that is just for our kids' education. It's not much, it's not a whole lot, but we find that over the time that it takes before we need to purchase something else, there's enough in there that we are able to purchase whatever the kids need. It's also great when surprise things come up, like field trips we didn't expect, or an unexpected hobby decides to come up and they want to start taking classes. There's a little money built up in there to get them started. It works out really well, and I would suggest setting up an automatic transfer so you never even have to worry about transferring it each month or each paycheck. It just does it automatically for you. So that works for us. So cost is number one. Number two is, what is your education style? How do you want to teach to your kids? If you haven't seen my tips and tricks video, check that out. That's going to help you really hone in on a lot of these decisions that you're making with your curriculum. But how do you want to teach to your kids? Do you want to be very involved? Do you want it to be very hands-on? Do you want to do a unit type of study, something that's literature-based? What type of education are you looking for? We do something that is very whole world education. We try not to teach very honed in on one thing too specifically. We like when our different curriculums tie into one another. Example, this year we're doing U.S. history. Our science covers earth science with using all of the different national parks as the basis of the science curriculum. So we're learning about U.S. national parks. And then our history curriculum is a U.S. history curriculum, and it ties in with the timeline that we've been learning of the world. So they're not only learning U.S. history, but they're learning about what was going on in the world that affected U.S. history and the decisions that were being made in the U.S. at that time. I'll be covering both of those curriculums in a separate video and going over all the curriculum that we're using this year. But for you, how do you want to teach? What do you want your day to look like? What do you want to be in the involvement factor? If you've got older kids, you probably don't want to be as involved. But that really brings me to the next point, which is number three. What is their learning style? Do you have a child that's really great about just sitting down and listening to you read to them, or them sitting and reading out of a book? Or do you have kids that really like manipulatives? Are they kinesthetic and they need to touch things and experience things to learn them and absorb the information? Are they listeners? Audiobooks are a great option. Are they maybe a visual and an audio? Does video work great for you, where maybe the curriculum's taught on video? These are all options, but you have to think about what you want your day to look like. And what are your resources? Which brings us to number four. What are your resources when it comes to space and availability? We travel a lot, so doing an online curriculum doesn't really work for us because we don't always have internet access. So doing something that's solely internet based would be really, really difficult for us. But because we travel, we also can't carry around a ton of books. So it's got to be small, compact, easy to use, and personally, we like doing learning together, like a one-room schoolhouse style. So we liked something that teaches to everyone and not just each child having their own curriculum on certain subjects. Obviously, that doesn't work for math because my fourth grader is not ready to learn geometry. But when it comes to science and history, it does work, and it works really great. So what resources do you have? They're going to be a help to your school day and a hinder to your school day. And definitely take those into consideration when choosing. All right, that brings us to number 5. Our last tip is what gets you excited and what do you have time for? If you don't have time to sit with your kiddos for hours and teach a really lengthy, in-depth curriculum, then that's not going to work for you. Do you have multiple kids that you need to send them out and have them do a little bit here while you work with child A, and then child C is maybe on the computer while child B is reading a book so you can work with child A, and so on and so forth? Is that what you need? Take that into consideration. Maybe instead of having everybody do separate curriculums, something like what we do, a one-room schoolhouse style, is going to work best for you. Maybe your kids are totally all over the board and they're so different that just does not work for you. And you need different curriculums for each child, and each child learns differently, but you don't have the availability and the time to teach to each child individually. That is all right. There is still curriculum that's out there for you. You just need to think what works for you. Video-based, internet-based, books, even audio, it's all out there. Don't be afraid to keep looking. One of my favorite places to shop for curriculum is Rainbow Resource. And they have a fabulous number that you can call to talk to their resource specialists when you're stuck. I'm going to link them below. And if you have any questions, give them a call. They'll answer any questions that you have on any of the curriculum. I've had fantastic experiences with them. They are not a sponsor of this video. I am not paid by them in any way, but I find them to be a wonderful resource, as well as christianbookstore.com. If you're looking for secular resource, I totally understand. Maybe not the place you're going to look. Check out Rainbow Resource. But if you are looking for something that is Christian-based, Christian Bookstore is fabulous, and I come back to them time and time again. All right, so you've got your 5 tips. Take a breath, take it easy. You will find what works for you. And when all else fails, it's okay. Go for a walk. Enjoy nature. Talk to your kids. It will work out. I promise. Just take it one step at a time. And each time you find something that excites you, write it down, put it in your cart, and you'll get there. All right. If you have any questions, put them in the comments below. I'd be happy to answer any questions for you. Reach out to me. We are in this together, and I got your back. I'll see you next time.